Hi everyone, welcome back to another Teach with Koala tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be covering a personal favorite, which is the Koala Go Playground. It's one of the most powerful tools I would even say in the world for teaching. But before watching this tutorial, I would highly advise to watch my previous tutorial on how to use the Koala Go whiteboard, because with prior knowledge of the whiteboard and how to use it, the playground should be much easier for you. Without much ado, let's get straight to it. This right here is the Koala Go Playground. And at first sight, this is what you should also see in your playground. And what I'm in right now is the default playground. And as you can see, to move about, I simply click where I want to go, and my avatar should move in that direction. And if I want, I can also use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move, or the W, A, S, D keys on my keyboard as well. Now, let's cover all the tools in the playground right away. But before I continue, remember in the whiteboard video, I mentioned about creating new activities for different students. What I didn't explain is that an activity consists of two things, a whiteboard and a playground. So, if you create a new activity, it creates a new whiteboard and a new playground for your students. And if you switch activities, it switches both the whiteboard and the playground. Let me show you how this works. So, if I go to my activity menu by clicking on this button, and I change to, for example, this activity over here, as we can see, my playground has also totally changed. So if I click here to go back to the activity menu and go back to the previous activity I was on, which was called Fred's Koala Classroom, I'm back in the same old playground. Now that that's been covered, let's cover the tools in the playground. So the first tool we have is the drawing tool for drawing in the playground, and this works the same as the drawing tool on the whiteboard. So you have all the features, which is the change color option to change the color of the drawing tool. You have the width to switch the width slider to make it thicker or skinnier, and the vanishing pen tool is also in the playground. And last but not the least, we have the eraser as well to erase our drawings. Or you can simply use the undo tool to undo your drawings just like this, which is really easy and fun to use. Now, if I want to exit out of the drawing tool, all I have to do is click on the X over here, and I've exited out of it just like that. The next tool within the playground is the focus tool. And the focus tool allows me to focus on anywhere within the playground, because in the playground, you and your students do not have the same perspective. Your student has a different view. It's just like in real life. We may be looking at the same thing, but from different angles. I could be standing on the left and my teacher could be on the right. So we may be looking at the same things, but from different perspectives. But if I want both my students and I to see the same thing at the same time, I can simply click on the focus tool, and it provides me with this box over here, which when I click on any area, for example here, it focuses on this section of the playground. So this is the only time within the playground where both my students and I have a locked view. So with this, I can zoom out, zoom in, right, up, left, and down to adjust my view. And if I want to go back into normal mode, all I have to do is click on this key to go back into free roaming, and I'm back into the normal view. Perfecto. So the next tool is the eyeball, which is also the first person view. So this allows us to see things how we see things in real life. And whilst using first person view, you can no longer click around to move. You're forced to use your arrow keys on your keyboard or the WASD keys. And the first person view allows you to walk into buildings and see what's inside of them. And also you can see things on the ground much clearer as compared to the third person view, where you see things from a bird's eye view. One thing I didn't explain is that in third person view, you can also adjust your view or perspective like this. So how am I doing this? It's definitely not magic. If I have a trackpad or a mouse, I can right click to adjust my view like this, or depending on my settings, I can hold 2 fingers down and drag to move my perspective or view just like this. So you can either right click and drag, or put 2 fingers on your trackpad and drag around to move. There we go. And I can also zoom in and zoom out just like how I would on any other websites. Perfecto! We're almost there, everyone. So the next tool is the customize avatar icon, which allows me to customize my avatar. So I can make my avatar look more like me. Let me give it a darker skin tone and some pink cheeks, although I don't have pink cheeks. And I can also change the color of his or her lips and the eye color as well, and give him some stylish glasses and change the color of those too. I can change the avatar's hair, their shirts, their trousers, and their shoes. I love the way my avatar looks for now, so I think I'll keep it. Actually, let me give him a cool hairstyle. And let me make it purple. Oh, he looks like a rock star now. I love it that way. Okay, let's get straight to it. So if I'm done with this section, I can either click on done over here or click on the X over here, just like that. The next tool is the add blocks, objects, images, or stickies. If I click this, I have all of these options right here. I have blocks, which allows me to add blocks for building. So I can choose any block of my choice and click here. Now blocks are very important. You can just simply click on any block and click anywhere in your playground to place the blocks. Blocks allow you to build stuff in the playground. If you ever want to build anything, you can't build anything in the playground without the use of blocks. Blocks are literally the foundation tools for building in the playground. And just like that, I've built what looks like a cool, what is this? A cool hole, I guess. It's pretty cool. So I can build anything I want with the use of blocks and choose any block of my choice within the playground, just like that. But if I want to build something really huge and I don't want to place one block at a time like this, which does take forever to do, I can just hold the shift key on my keyboard, click on my mouse or trackpad and drag whilst holding the shift key to place multiple blocks at once. And if I also want to delete blocks, I can do the same. I can go to the shovel tool over here, click on each block to delete them. But if I want to delete multiple blocks at once, I can simply hold the shift key on my keyboard, click and drag to delete more than one block, just like that. Magic? No, it's not magic, it's just the shift key. Awesome. So let's go back to the option for add blocks, objects, images, or stickies. The next tool is the teaching tool. And the teaching tool, just like on the whiteboard, allows us to add sticky notes in the playground. Oh, did you see that? I moved really fast. You know how I did that? The shift key. So if I want to move really fast in the playground, I just hold the shift key and the up arrow or downwards key, and just like that, I can move like the Flash. So whilst holding the shift key and your arrow keys, you can move really fast in the playground. Now, let's get back to business. The sticky notes. I can also place sticky notes in the playground, just like on the whiteboard. And I can type anything on my sticky notes just like that, and also change the color. And just like in the whiteboard, I have the same tools on the left side, which allows me to increase the size of the sticky notes, rotate it, duplicate it, and lock it in order to make it clonable as well. So all the functions of the sticky notes on the whiteboard are also within the playground. And let me unlock it and move this here, rotate it a bit. And I can also add sound and delete it just like on the whiteboard too. If you haven't checked out the whiteboard video, I'd highly recommend checking out our tutorial on how to use the Koala Go whiteboard. Let's go back one step and let's cover companions. So, what at all is a Koala Go companion? A Koala Go companion is basically, as the name says, a companion. A companion is, for now, a dragon within the Koala Go classroom. And your students can also have their very own dragon within the classroom. Now the dragon simply follows your students around, and I'll show you mine in a second. So this right here is my companion. My companion is called Bambino, and he's just a fun little creature that follows me around. I see he doesn't want to let go of me today, but sometimes Bambino can wander off on his or her own. So companions are just fun animals or fun creatures which your students can have. Companions take 7 days before they can hatch after purchase. So once you purchase a companion, it will show up in the form of an egg just like this. So I have an egg over here which should hatch within the next 7 days. But please note, only one of your companions which you purchase can hatch. If you purchase more than one companion and one of them has already hatched, every other companion you purchase will not hatch. And you may wonder, is it the same for your students? I'll explain that very soon. But for now, let's go back and let's go to the image library. So the image library, as the name says, allows you to upload images onto the playground, or into the playground, sorry. I can simply drag and drop any image I want in this section, and I can upload the image into the playground. And just like on the whiteboard, I can also increase the size and rotate images and duplicate them as well. So this can be used for teaching very often. You can place images of different work activities for your students, and you can both interact with them within the playground. Let me go back one step and let's cover story tools. What are story tools? Let me explain. So we have action zones and reaction props. I'll start with action zones. Now, what's an action zone? Action zones are areas which sense contents. So let me show you how this works. If I go to add action zone, I should be met with this green section over here, and I can place it anywhere, like for example here. And then what's the next step? The next step is to drag an item into the action zone. So let me go back again, and let me probably drag an image into the action zone. So I'll drag Mr. Penguin over here into our action zone, and let me go back and go back to story tools and then action zone. And now if I want my action zone to sense the contents within it, I can simply click on this sensor over here, and the action zone has automatically sensed that there's a penguin within it. So it says active if it contains the penguin. Now this doesn't really do anything, so let me show you how action zones really work. If I go back and go to reaction props, I can choose a red door over here, place it like this, go back one step again, and go to action zones, and then click on connections. So this line over here appears. Now I have to connect my action zone to my reaction prop like this, and then the door opens. So basically, what this does is that, for example, if I move the penguin outside of the action zone like this, the door closes. So you can use this to create a really fun activity for your students. You can have different animals within the playground. So maybe I have over here, let's change the view to see it much better. I have a penguin, I have a pig, and I have a porcupine. Now my action zone only senses the penguin. So I could ask my students, what animal or which one of these animals live in a cold environment? If you put the pig here, the action zone won't open, since the action zone was created to only open once the penguin is inside. If I put a porcupine here, it won't open. But as soon as I put a penguin here, my door opens and the students can enter the door like this. So this is a way to create fun activities with the use of action zones. So as I said, remember, when we first created the action zone, the first item we placed in it was the penguin. So the action zone is only active if it contains the penguin. Now there are different things which you can do with story tools and action zones. I would recommend checking out our video on how to use story tools. I'll place the link in the description. Now, let's go back one step and let's cover home and decor. If you realize, by the companions and by the action zones, there were these little purple icons with numbers, which are called gems. On the whiteboard video, I said I'll explain gems later on, and here I am today explaining what gems are. So gems are the virtual currency in Koala Go, which you can use to purchase items. So I have all of these items over here which cost gems, and I can simply give my students gems to purchase these items. Now, how do you as a teacher even get gems? So as a teacher on a Koala Pro subscription, you get 300 gems every single month, and also if you invoice with Koala Go, you get a certain amount of gems. There are different ways to get gems, such as referring another teacher, and also the simplest way to get gems is simply by buying gems in the gem store. Over here, if you click on the menu and simply click on Get Gems, you should see all the options to purchase more gems for your students. Perfecto. So, how do you even give your students gems to buy all of these cool items? I'll show you. Do you remember my previous student from the last class, Josh? He did look like me a lot, but as I said, Josh is not me, he's actually a student. So let's invite Josh into the classroom one more time. Now, if I want to give gems to Josh, I can simply click on the reward button over here and click on gem, and then I can choose the number of gems which I want to give to Josh. So I can give Josh 20 gems and click on give 20. And now Josh has 20 gems to purchase different items within the playground. So I see gems as a sort of incentive to motivate your students. For example, hey Josh, if you get this answer right, I'll give you this amount of gems. And since Josh wants to buy really cool stuff in the playground, Josh is going to work hard to answer it correctly or get the answer right so that Josh can get more gems. Awesome! Now, to purchase an item with gems in the playground, I can simply click on any item I want, like the telescope, and click on buy one for 19, and I can buy this item and place it anywhere within my playground like this. And if I want to delete the item, like this by clicking on it, and click on the trash can, the item now appears back in my inventory. And this time I don't have to repurchase it, but it says 1, meaning I have 1 of that item. So if I click on it again, I can place it back in the playground one more time. Now, let's go to the tools at the top. Configure this playground. If I click on this button over here, I have different options. I can change the sky of my playground to a night sky or to a sunset sky, like this. And if I go back here, I can change my start location. If you realize, when we first entered the playground, I dropped in a certain spot, and Josh also did as well. But if I want to change the spot in which we drop in, I can simply change it to this section over here and also reduce the area so that we drop in a specific spot. So if I want to exit out of the playground using the X over here, and once Josh and I go back into the playground, we drop in that particular spot. So that's just how to change the start location of your playground. Again, we have a short tutorial dedicated to most of the small stuff within the playground, like changing the sky, changing the water level, like this, to make the water level really high or really low and change the color. So I'll place the links to the shorter tutorials in the description as well. Now if we go back over here, I can also respawn items. For example, if Bambino is flying around and he tends to get missing from time to time, I can simply click here to respawn my companion, and Bambino drops within the start location. And if, for example, I have stuff like eggs and sports items within the playground, I can respawn them over here, just like this, and they all drop within the start location. And then the next option is configure story. What even is a story? A playground story is simply an activity or a playground which your students can use outside of class time. We have a whole video dedicated to playground stories and how to use them. So if you want your students to have access to the playground outside of class time, I'd recommend watching our video on playground stories and how that works. It's really easy. So I hope you learned a lot today. Let me show you some extra tools within the playground which are really helpful. If I click on the menu over here and I click on Reset Playground, I can change my playground with the free options which the Koala team has given us. So I can select the Antarctic Station. Yes, reset it. And now our playground has reset to this really cool Antarctic Station. So if you ever want to reset your playground, you can simply use this tool to do so. And if you want to build your own thing from scratch, you can use the plain grass field as well if you want. Let me show you one more really cool thing which I think you'd love. So if I go here to the menu at the top right corner, click on My Activities and click on Go to Marketplace, it opens up the Koala Go Marketplace. So if you don't want to build your own playground from scratch and you simply want a ready-made playground made by other teachers, you can go to the Koala Go Marketplace. A lot of teachers have created different playgrounds on different subjects and different topics. You can filter them over here according to grades, format, pricing, subjects. There are even some free playgrounds made by the Koala team which you can use. You can search for anything you want and purchase any playground of your choice. There are some really cool playgrounds, so I would advise to check them out in the marketplace. So in our previous video, I mentioned that I would explain this feature over here, which is the playground quality. So this allows you to change your playground block quality. You can choose the low, medium, high or ultra option. You may wonder, why would you ever want the low playground block quality? So to help the playground load faster depending on your internet speed, you would have to choose the quality you want. As I said, if you ever have any questions at all on what we've learned today, simply text the help chat. We're always here to assist you. I hope by now you're a playground master. But the playground is something which I would recommend to use regularly so that you can get the hang of it. My dragon is snoring, by the way. That's not me snoring. But as I was saying, you would have to use the playground regularly to get the hang of it. It's a really powerful tool for teaching and learning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy teaching, everyone. I hope you have an exciting and wonderful Koala teaching journey. Bye.